What's up everybody, blessed be. My name is Manon and you are watching Witch in the Working, where we will be discussing all things witchy in and around, throughout and about, above, below, and beyond. Please visit me on my other platforms as well, including Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon, all linked down in the description below. The full script to this video, and most of the others, is available on my Patreon account for download if desired. What makes downloading these scripts really cool is that with them you can again begin to put together your own Witch in the Working Book of Shadows to access great information anytime in a witchy vibey way. Also, please visit my Shopify store listed in the description below to get your Witch in the Working shirts, mugs, stickers, bags, beanies, or what have you. Being a witch, especially nowadays, usually also encompasses owning various tools and aids to help us through our magical endeavors and adventures. Ritual tools that are commonly found in the atmosphere of a witch or magician could be a black-handled knife called an Athame, or a white-handled knife called a white-handled knife, or a bowline. If the blade is curved like a scythe, it's a bowline. A chalice, a pentacle, for some a sword, and even for some a cauldron. A wand, a staff. There are many tools of the trade depending on your particular tradition or practice. Some other exciting tools that we witches utilize come in the shape of those things that aid us in our divinatory practices, such as crystal balls, magic mirrors, runes, tarot cards, Ouija boards, the I-Ching sticks or coins, and pendulums, to name just a few. Another less common and often not spoken of as much as the others is a device called witch sticks. In this episode, we're going to talk all about witch sticks, what they are, how to use them, and how to make some of your own. So without further ado, you know what's coming up. Roll the intro. Welcome back everyone. So what are these mysterious witch sticks I'm talking about? Some of you may have heard of them before, but utilizing a different name. Maybe you've heard of them called divining rods or dowsing rods. I call them witch sticks because of a very odd and nothing to do with witchcraft circumstance that occurred to me about 25 years ago. When I was in my mid-20s, I worked as a general manager at a utility supply store called Save On Utilities. So basically, we sold water and sewer piping to municipalities so they could build new communities and repair outdated and broken water and sewer piping that supplied the communities throughout South Florida. We used to sell a set of devices that looked like a bicycle handle grip with an antenna that protruded from the top. And once extended out, it would fold over to make a 90-degree angle to the bicycle handle grip. The antenna folded over, pointing straight in front of you, and was free to move from side to side, and also it would pretty much just swing, it could rotate 360 degrees. They were sold in singles, but most construction workers bought them in twos because of the nature of how they used them, which was to hold them in each hand and wait for them to cross, forming an X, which marked the spot of what they were looking for. Or for them, sometimes it would be to just turn in a direction other than straight out in front of you to show them the direction a water or sewer line was flowing or located. So a construction worker would need to locate a water or sewer pipe in a field somewhere. And instead of breaking out some sort of high-tech locator that costs thousands of dollars, they would bust out their trusty $40 witch sticks, unfold the antennas, start walking across this field, and wait for the sticks to rotate in the direction of the pipe flow so they could locate the pipe and dig it up and repair it. If they were trying to find a specific valve, they would use them in the same way, and only they would wait for them to cross, forming an X as they walked a pipe and eventually walked over a valve. What's amazing to me is that this old ancient form of water dowsing and finding lost items was being utilized in this day and age over equipment that cost megabucks, as it was simpler and sometimes more reliable than this expensive and exquisite electronics. So why do I call them witch sticks? Because the company that sold these simple devices for $20 each called them witch sticks, which adds even further to my amazement of this peculiar circumstance. The rugged modern-day construction workers who probably ignored the fact that witches even exist were actually purchasing and utilizing an ancient form of divination and didn't even know they were doing so. I don't know. How ironic is that as far as I'm concerned? And yes, irony, the real irony, not the simple occasional bad luck that Alanis Morissette sings about in her song and mistakenly calls them moments of irony. Anyway, later on in my witchy career, when I joined the ranks of Gardnerian Wicca, I would be taught to utilize witch sticks for multiple situations, from locating lost items to locating the seat of an illness, and even to measure the auric field. Witch sticks have even made a reemergence to those who follow ghost hunting, as this group of outgoing and enthusiastic curiosity seekers have begun to utilize them to locate spirits in supposed haunted locations. So what is dowsing? Dowsing is a type of divination employed in attempts to locate groundwater, buried metals or ores, gemstones, oil, claimed radiations, grave sites, earth vibrations, and many other objects and materials without the use of scientific apparatus. It's also known as divining, doodlebugging, and or water finding. In times of old, these divining rods were made from a stick from a tree and shaped like the letter Y, in which the two handles were held and the desired stick would bounce when the desired treasure was found. Dowsing has been around for centuries, actually originating in ancient times where it was seen as a simple form of divination. Witch sticks were actually utilized in the Bible, though because it was a form of magical practice, it was later banned by the church as a practice completely. As per Wikipedia, old texts about searching for water do not mention using the divining twig, and the first account of this practice was in 1568, where Sir William F. Barrett wrote in his 1911 book, Psychical Research, that in a recent admirable life of Saint Teresa of Spain, the following incident is narrated. Teresa in 1568 was offered the site for a covenant to which there was only one objection: there was no water supply. Happily, a friar, Antonio, came up with a twig in his hand, stopping at a certain spot and appeared to be making the sign of the cross. But Teresa says, quote, "Really, I cannot be sure if it were the sign he made. At any rate, he made some movement with the twig, and then he said, 'Dig just here.' They dug, and lo, a plentiful fountain of water gushed forth, excellent for drinking, copious for washing, and it never ran dry." As the writer of this life remarks, Teresa, not having heard of dowsing, has no explanation for this event and regarded it as a miracle. This, I believe, is the first historical reference to dowsing for water. In the 1600s, divining with rods was declared satanic and against God and the church. The church felt that the movement of the rod was caused by the devil, which is kind of stupid because why would the devil help people find life-supporting water, in their minds anyway? No one said the church was wise. Most of all the early church decisions were ridiculous and outright horrific, as we all know. This really didn't stop people from using them, though. Not even the church themselves, as in the 1700s, the French would use them to track criminals and heretics, in which its abuse led to the church officiating a decree against utilizing witch sticks in a matter of justice. Witch sticks. Anyway. Our pagan ancestors utilized witch sticks throughout history, not just to find water, but also to locate lost or missing items and treasures, as well as to locate illness in the body or the source of it, and even try to tell the sex of an unborn baby. Even the military have utilized witch sticks throughout the years. In World War I, Gallipoli campaign, Sapper Kelly became well known for finding water for the British troops. In the late 1960s, during the Vietnam War, some United States Marines used dowsing when locating weapons in tunnels. As late as in 1986, when 31 soldiers were taken by an avalanche during an operation in the NATO Drill Anchor Express in Vassdalen, Norway, the Norwegian army attempted to locate soldiers buried in the avalanche using dowsing as a search method. So there are two types of witch sticks that mainly exist today. One is a witch twig that is best made from witch hazel, willow, or peach trees. This twig is shaped in a Y shape, and the two ends are held figure chest high, and the single end is pointed straight out in front of the person. As the person walks throughout the area of the suspected treasure or whatever they're seeking, the end of the stick will nod or raise or bounce or what have you, or twitch when the stick moves over the area of concern. This method is often called willow witching. The other form of witch sticks, which is the form I am most familiar with, utilizes two rods that, just like the witch twig, are held about chest high and in front of you. The same method of utilization is performed by the seeker as with the witch twig, and when an object of concern is located, the sticks will cross, forming an X that marks the spot. Unless you're going for a direction, they'll form an X to tell you to walk that direction, which is what you'll see in an example I have coming up. These witch sticks are best in my opinion when made from copper, but many materials can be used successfully, including different metals, glass, wood, and even plastic has been known to work, but I totally do not recommend using plastic. So how do I get a pair of my own witch sticks? Again, as I've mentioned in many videos prior to this one, Amazon has a great selection, though you may want to look up dowsing rods for a better result. I have a pair I bought from Amazon right here, and see, like the handles, like they have like these little spinny tubes on them. You hold them about, you know, chest high, which kind of out of the camera, but, and then they kind of sit like so, and they'll just be out in front of you. And when you actually see something or find something, they'll cross like so, just to give an example. So these are the pair from Amazon, but the best pair I ever owned I made from a piece of copper clothes hanger. Making your own can take practice, as many people tend to grasp the sticks too tightly, not allowing the subtle energies that move the sticks to do their job. They need to be held in a manner that you're actually just supporting them, not really grasping them, which allows for their uninterrupted movement and guaranteed success rate. I'm going to demonstrate to you now how you have to hold these homemade witch sticks. It's a little bit different than the ones you buy off of Amazon, because the ones from Amazon have a little piece of tube right here so that this thing can spin freely. But I don't necessarily like that. I like more of my hand on the rod itself. I just feel more connected in that sense. But some of you might like the other way better. But to properly hold these, let's see if I can get this on camera. I might have to come to the side here. You have to kind of hold them where you kind of like are forming like a circle in your hand. You're not squeezing them like this, like a grip, like a death grip. That's not the way to do it, because, I mean, you could do it that way, but in the end, holding them so tight that it's a very subtle energy that moves them. So if you're holding them too tight, it's interrupting that signal. So, you know, it's not letting them turn so easy. So you want to kind of leave a gap like so, like the size of a nickel figure. And you let them lean slightly forward over your knuckles, just like is shown here. Real object is to try to hold them as level as possible. Once they're held level, they're free to move, and with the subtlest of energy. This is my favorite way of doing it. This is the way I prefer, and this is the way I recommend over the Amazon, you know, with the copper handles and whatnot. That's right. The easier method is to simply purchase a pair from Amazon, for instance, where they are dummy proof and actually have a handle that can be grasped, yet leaving the stick capable of free movement without you grasping, without your grasping pressure causing an interruption. I'll show you all the forms as well as how to make your own set of witch sticks. This is the set I purchased with the easy grasp handles, like I just showed you. So these are the ones from Amazon. And they spin around freely, like woo. You know, but now I'm going to show you a set that we're going to make. So you're going to need 36 inches approximately of copper wire, a lot like this. This is number 6 bare copper wire. You can get it from Home Depot. It cost me $2.21. If you get 36 inches, you know, whatever, 37 inches, and you get to the middle, which I have marked here already. Take a pair of snips. Cut it in half. Now you've got 2 pieces, which are going to be the basis of your witch sticks. Take an end, grab it with your hand, a little bit out like so, bend it down for a handle so it looks like this. Do the same with the other side. Boop. There you go. 2 pairs of witch sticks for $2.21. So when I was first being trained in Gardnerian witchcraft, my high priestess, Lady Debola, would teach us about the witch sticks, how to hold them, how to make your own, as like back then there was no Amazon. You had to make your own unless you happened to cross a nice pair in a craft store or went to a construction store, as I told you in the beginning of the video. But back to my story. She would teach us all about them and all about how our mind and mind's eye and energy we project in combination with the witch sticks help us find whatever we need to find, as long as we can keep a strong visualization of that object in our mind while searching. So for the ultimate test, she would take us out to a wooded area called Treetops Park in Cooper City, Florida. And she would tell us, let's all meet and have a craft discussion and a picnic, and make sure you bring your witch sticks. So excitedly, we all went to the gathering and had a great time. Of course, in the back of our minds the entire time, wondering why she specifically mentioned bringing our witch sticks. Were we going to go treasure hunting? Were we going to go locating water? What was up her sleeve with this odd request? At some point, about halfway through the pagan picnic, she had us all give her our car keys. She proceeded to walk over to the edge of the wooded area and chuck them into the dense woods in all different directions within, I don't know, figure 100 feet of where we stood with our jaws on the ground. So she's literally sitting there just like chucking our keys in every direction. She said to us with the most loving smile on her face, "You want to go home? I suggest you use your witch sticks and divining skills to the best of your ability and find your set of keys." So after a few moments, when we all calmed down from the initial shock, she said, "I want you all to take 5 deep breaths that follow along with my 4 count." We did so, calming us and further freeing our busy minds of the great injustice that had just occurred. She said, "Picture your keys in your mind. Hold your sticks in position, ready to go. Now show your sticks what your keys look like with your mind's eye. You and your sticks are one. Now with this image clearly in your mind, you and the spirit guiding your sticks, go find your keys." So one by one, we put to practice what we were taught. We stood on the pavement with witch sticks in hand and pointed them at the direction of the woods. Slowly scanned from left to right. About 3/4 of the way through, my sticks crossed. So I knew to walk that direction. I entered into the woods and walked around a few bushes and trees in the direction in which my sticks told me. And after, winding through, I stopped about 10 feet in and rescanned again, moving my sticks from left to right, which is probably going from right to left on the camera, but regardless. I'm scanning, and then lo and behold, I get to another point and my sticks cross. I repeated this a few more times until finally my keys laid in front of me, partially buried beneath some forest ground clutter, but sticking out enough to see them and retrieve them. Much to our surprise, it only took about 15 minutes for all 8 of us to find our keys. This exercise truly rammed it home how amazing and successful this method worked. Since then, I've used my witch sticks numerous times to find lost car keys, wallets, and numerous other lost items. You can even use them, like I've had students or people come over and lose their witchcraft tools, Athames and wands and whatnot, and they would use the witch sticks to find them. You can even use the witch sticks over a map to locate things or people, just like you would a pendulum. This is a demonstration that I'm going to do with Pink to show you what I went through that glorious day with my high priestess. Now I'm going to go back and get Pink, who's back at the car. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Witching and Working. Do you own witch sticks? How do you use them? What have you lost and found utilizing this amazing tool? If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to ring that little bell and choose the all option so that YouTube will remind you of any and all future episodes to come. I love you guys and gals. Till the next episode, blessed be.